Yeah,
I think about that, and also like I think if you're like in a position of leadership, and I'm not just talking about like at a church or even in like a business, but even like if you're like the leader of your family, you have to almost have like this. There's like this expectation you have to like set the tone for your family, business, or for your people, whatever it is. And so why would you want to have a negative tone like in your family or whatnot? So of course, like even though I may not be feeling it for the day, I'm gonna fake it because I don't want like anybody else around me to not have fun or not have a good time or not have like a positive experience because I'm going through something crappy. But sometimes I think like especially in families that can create like a lot of like hardship. Because you're not either like not addressing things that are there that like need to be addressed, or you're just setting up like this fake wall of, okay, like we're gonna have like this is gonna be the tone. It's gonna be positive no matter what. If you don't like it, get out. Or just play along.
I feel like there's moments where that's kind of necessary though, right? Like,
there is.
If you're gonna go out with your family and you just had like the most awful day of your life, but you're taking your kids out to McDonald's or whatever, you don't want to like trauma dump and set the tone for the evening with your family.
Let's share a happy meal. Let me tell you about this.
As long as like later you're able to.
It's a discernment piece. I really think it is. Like because not everybody really deserves to know how you're doing. I think, or like can handle it. Can really take it in at that point in their life. But like, what are some signs that that's taking place? What are signs of like that positivity's become toxic in our relationships or our families?
I'd love you to answer first.
Oh, well, I asked the question.
Okay, I'll go first. No, I'll go first.
I don't mind answering.
I'll go first. Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead, Brody.
Brody and Brady at the same time.
Brody Jessup, take the mic.
Not until you call me by my real name.
Go ahead, Brady.
Thank you. So I can't even remember where I was going to go with all that.
Toxic positivity in relationships.
When you can't be truthful. At all. I think that's when that toxicity has really set in. When you can't be honest with either your spouse or a friend or a family member, your small group, whoever it is. Like if you truly can't be honest, then I think that's when you've crossed that line into like just total like toxicity.
I agree. I think that's really true. I think also, I think it creates stress in relationships. And so like, you walk into a room and you're like, I don't even know what I can share at this point. And so I like, in a situation like that, I've tended to be really super quiet. Where I'm like, I think I'll assess this place before I say much. I feel like that's not a great thing at all. We like to go in and like have to feel the room before we can engage. Like I hate that. And so I love that too, like the thought of in a situation like that being the thermostat and not the thermometer. And so going in and maybe being the uncomfortable or asking maybe the right questions to be able to start breaking some of that up is good. But I think that a stressful room is like, if for people that have a high EQ, the ability to feel to feel the tension in a room, man, that's it's good to be able to have that, but also to be able to combat that with something is good, because it's super unhealthy to walk into a place and be stressed.
I think also though, like sometimes you just have to have the ability and willingness to go first. Like so
break the ice.
Whether or not you're a leader, so like in now the very first time we got together, we ended up on a really sensitive subject. And I was just sitting there quiet because I was like mentally doing gymnastics. And as I was sitting there talking, I was like, okay, guys, like I just have to be honest. Like right now, like I want to say things, but I'm processing whether or not I should say them as a pastor, as a friend, and as people who don't know me yet. Because it was like the first time we were meeting, right? So like I'm like trying to figure out, you know, how much to say at what point in my relationship with them, right? You know, and so like I just keep thinking like it's hard, because especially when it's like people that you know really well and you feel like you can't be honest with them anymore, then I think, you know, you slipped into like a toxic positivity culture. But if it's people you don't know well yet, then I feel like that's like
I think you have some boundaries there.
You slowly dip your toe and you slowly progressively share more as it as you build that trust. But I think that trust doesn't come naturally to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
You know, definitely not.
Well,
me,
what,
so.
maybe this would be a little more helpful if we like maybe just got this a little more condensed, or like fine tune the questions. Like, as we're in a series where we're talking about awkward families
Yeah.
and awkward times with people that we do know and that we do love.
Yeah.
What's a way to kind of help navigate those situations in a family setting, extended family setting?
Just don't show up.
Oh,
No,
Heard it here
don't
first,
don't do
folks.
that. Don't do
Matt,
that.
Matt got food poisoning again for the third year in a
Yeah,
row.
that's so weird. He doesn't even eat food anymore.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Have you had to navigate
Yeah.
those situations as part of a larger family?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like.
So, like, I would say in a situation where if I walk into a room and it's like, I'm not sure what's going on, or it's like people they're being overly, I don't know, like, you hate to say overly positive because like that's a great thing, and if people are having fun, but it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
to get somebody's genuine like, how are you really doing? I love to be able to like just do one-on-one conversations and
Yes.
ask questions.
Yeah.
I think questions is the best way to be able to work into people's lives and to hear what's really taking place. And like, man, I'd really love to know how you're doing. Or we have that rapport that we've built within our relationships to be able to say, hey, but how's your relationship with Sean or whatever? Like, how's that really going?
Yeah.
And like, I know that last year was hard because like 2 of your kids moved out or whatever. And so to be able to really dig in and see how people are doing, showing that we care. But I think that when we go and we ask questions, dude, you have to listen well.
Yeah. Oh, for
You
sure.
have
Yeah,
to
you
read.
to.
Like, you don't
Yeah.
sit there and think about what I'm going to say. Like, really listen. And,
Right. Shut your
and
brain off.
Yeah. And well, just, I would say almost not shutting a brain off completely, but it would just be like to be really in tune
Right.
and listening.
Yeah.
It's like, I really do care about what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then really care about what they're saying. So, like,
Listening to understanding.
totally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I said that weird, but you know what I mean.
No, we got you. Yeah, listening to understand, not listening to like just not to give some sort of like
Feedback.
response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You
totally.
truly want to
Yeah.
hear what the person has to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which validates that person too.
I'll never forget when I was in seminary, I was part of the classes that I was required to take was in addition to every like big class that I took, there was a spiritual formation class that I was required to take. And in one of them, we were supposed to go around and ask people what our blind spots were.
Oh,
Oh,
Which
mercy.
like I actually really love because
Yeah.
I hate not being aware
yeah.
of
Right.
things. And I went up to someone that I knew would just
Yes.
and
Yeah.
she's like, Sadie, every time I talk to you, I know the exact moment you've stopped listening to me and have started formulating your response. I was like,
Ooh.
oh.
Yeah.
I thought, like, in my head, like, it's not that I didn't know that I was doing that, but in my head, I was concealing it a lot better,
Right.
and I was still, like, actively listening
Like,
and,
you're
like,
playing
nodding my
poker
head,
really
doing
well,
the
yeah.
yes, you know, but I, like, I'd already, like, moved on in my head. And so that was a moment for me and I'm not saying that I'm 100% good at that, because I definitely have it, but I'm at least aware,
Yeah.
and I try to, like, redirect my brain, but basically her response was, like, when you do that, it makes me feel like I can't or shouldn't talk to you.
Right. Yeah.
And then, like, then it forces her to be toxically positive with me because she knows if she tries to tell me something, I'm only going to hear the first 30 seconds. And then
Right.
after that, I'm going to be thinking about how do I respond to her.
Yeah.
So our dynamic shifted to be a lot healthier after that because it was very humbling. But that was one of those things. Like, again, I said, like, it was not an intentional forcing toxic positivity, but an inadvertent based on not embracing certain values. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like, as I think about this question, I think about two things. Number one, like, it's almost like you need to build like the foundation of love like into your relationship.
Yeah.
And like part of that love is truly just being like, hey, like you can literally say anything that you need to me, and I'm going to hear you.
Yeah.
And like genuinely listening.
Yeah.
And part of that also, so like when you set that foundation and something goes wrong or someone's hurt, whatever it is, and it allows for the opportunity to be toxic to come up. I think what you need to do is like you just like leave the door open to like have a conversation and say, hey, like I understand you may not want to talk about this right now, but whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
like I'm ready to talk.
Yeah.
And because it also like even sets like a healthy boundary for you, like as the person saying, hey, like I love you enough to like to leave the door open, but also like I'm not going to chase you down to a point where like it gets unhealthy.
Yeah.
It could possibly ruin ruin our relationship as mom or dad or as father and son, like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I love you enough to like, hey, I see something's wrong. Let's talk about it. But also like whenever you're ready, let's talk about it and leave the door open
Yeah.
and say, hey, like
good.
yeah,
So
let's
important.
be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys.
We don't want forced transparency.
That's the
So.
least best kind of transparency.
Yeah.
That made no sense. But
But I got what you meant. So we're good.
it's the
Yeah.
last form of
We don't
transparency.
want toxic positivity, and
Right.
we also don't want forced transparency.
Right.
We want like
Yeah. Authentic transparency. Yeah.
authentic, but also willing.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like how you don't want people to fear you. Mm-hmm. You don't want people to. Okay, your facial
I want
expression
people
is
to be
great.
afraid of how much they love me. Okay.
You know, like we
Yeah.
want people to like if they're gonna listen to us, we want it to be out of a place
Yeah.
of like love or honor
Right.
or
Yeah.
respect rather
Yeah.
than fear.
Right. Right.
It's
Now-
like a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it's
here we go.
it moves from legalism into from a have to a get to. I feel
Yeah.
like it's a way,
Yeah.
like as we were even as that series that we were talking about growing roots
Yeah.
and being rooted deeply in Christ. It's like it works the same with Him when it's
Yeah.
like moving from a have to and forcing that to be like an opportunity to love.
Yeah.
Trusting
Yeah.
and receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.